So remember Tyra Sanchez? Well, now she go by King Tyra. She won season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race back in 2010. Now, since then, the relationship between Tyra and Drag Race has not gone so well. I think she's kind of been blacklisted like Willem. But the shady part is, because I'm sure you see my social media where I have the picture of myself, where I posted a throwback, flashback, what do they call it? Flashback? Whatever. Anyway, so I posted on my social media a picture that I took when I lived in LA 4 years ago of myself in front of World of Wonder. I'm sure you probably know from Willa mentioning it, but right across the street is her studio. She has a studio literally across the street from World of Wonder. Also, what is next door to Willem's studio is Marco's studio, which I remember one time we were doing a photo shoot in Willem's studio, and Marco and a team of his people walked by and waved. So we all waved back. It was cute. But anyway, so I do find it ultimately ultra shady that she has a studio across the street for the very people who pretty much have blackballed her. But Willem's still working, so she's good. So anyway, Tyra basically went on Joseph Shepard's Exposed show, which I actually like Joseph Shepard. Joseph's basically doing what I used to do back in the day when I used to interview. But after I used to I remember when it was literally just 5 of us doing Drag Race interviews. Everybody named Mama do it. Where I was literally at the events and I would sit and this was during the season that Alaska was on and Jinx Monsoon won. It was really like 5 of us, it was Logo, and some other people. So it really wasn't a lot of press in those days. Which has changed so much. And I remember the minute Alyssa Edwards walked into the room, everybody swarmed her like bees to honey, trying to get the exclusive tea. And this is how I knew around that time, but it took a long time for her for it to get off the ground. The Netflix show that she wound up doing with the kids in the dance school and all that stuff that was supposed to be like, what's her name? Why am I thinking Tan Mom? Like Abby Lee Miller. It was supposed to be in the vein of that. So I already knew that too way back in the day. But anyway. So yeah, it wasn't a lot of us then, but now it's like everybody named Mamas be interviewing, the Drag Race girls. Like it was a lot of press when I went to the season 15 premiere. So one of the things that I liked about the interview, because I thought it basically humanized Tyra, it says, I don't mind people calling me Tyra Sanders. So if you see Tyra out in the street, hey Tyra, he's not gonna beat your ass. Because I like when people are humble enough to say, you know what? This is who I started out as. I'll always be that person. I can't sit and tell you not to call me something. You can still call me Tyra, but I am King Tyra. And you was shown on TV to millions of people. They also said, which I had no idea, because I know on his Twitter he goes by James Ross, which I am following him. But I had no idea. This is where I gagged when I watched this, and I don't think Joseph do either, because he said he didn't know. Yeah, Dance Moms, thank you. How Tyra's issues with Drag Race started with Michelle Visage. Now, mind you, Michelle Visage did not come onto Drag Race until I believe season 3. She wasn't even on Tyra's season. Tyra had Merle Ginsburg. So he said the beef between him and Michelle came from Michelle making comments about Tyra's crowning in season 2, saying that on Visage's press tour, at every stop, she made sure to say that she didn't think that he deserved to win. And that's when the Raven was robbed sentiment was created. Tyra also then brought up YouTube videos of Visage saying on record that she had, had she had been a judge on season 2 of Drag Race, the crowning would have had a different outcome. Now, Joseph did pull a quote from a 2Fab interview with Visage that read, I wasn't a judge in season 1 and 2, but if I were there, I would have fought really hard for Raven to have been the winner. Still love Tyra, but I would have fought really hard for Raven to be the winner. Now, we all know, girl, that would not have flown, because RuPaul is the one at the time, because me personally, I don't even think it's up to RuPaul anymore. I think the producers pretty much run that damn show. I believe it started out one way, with Drag Race, but as the show continued to grow, Ru just there to be like, I'm here to get my check and get my Emmys and go about my day and keep fracking at the place in Wyoming. I just want to throw that in there to be shady. But for the most part, I just think like I don't think Ru has as much control as they try to claim that they do. But I do believe Tyra when she said that he thinks that Ru wanted Tyra to win because I do feel like that was Ru's decision. But producers did not want Tyra to be the representation. I think it would have been easier for NYX Cosmetics and Absolute Vodka and World of Wonder to prop up a Raven than it would have been to prop up a Tyra because of Tyra's attitude and how she came across on the show. She is someone who I guess is similar to RuPaul's personality, which is an introvert masquerading as an extrovert. So a lot of times when you get introverts, people equate that with you have an attitude, you're shady, you're not the nicest person. So that's kind of like where people get that from, and people equate that with that. Now I've heard people tell me that Tyra is not the nicest person. She has a nasty attitude, this, that, and the third. And she explained a couple of times in the interview that she gets overwhelmed when she's around a lot of people. So they'll pull themselves away and go, in a little dark room or whatever and not want to be around so many people. I totally get that because I can be in public places. I can be socially awkward at times too. I don't like being around a lot of crowds. I get a little overwhelmed and anxious when it comes to being in unfamiliar territory. So I totally get the energy and the attitude. But I don't mean you gotta be a bitch though. And then she also mentions stuff about World of Wonder writing a letter asking Tyra not to attend DragCon back in 2018. And he says that the letter stated, as it currently stands, we cannot allow you to come to DragCon in any form. We need to see you make a sincere public apology. This apology has to make it clear that you do not condone violence against another person, including other queens. And this is because of the whole thing between Tyra getting into it with Morgan McMichaels and how Morgan she said, was poking her and bullying her on social media, and how Morgan has a tendency of being like, if you work with this girl, I'm going to make sure that you can't get people to come to this booking and do this, that, and the other. Because apparently, I guess at the time, Morgan had a lot of pull. Morgan has a lot of power, whatever the case was, in the world of drag. So she was denying people of being able to work with these group of people or pulling other queens in there if they work with Tyra. So Tyra made some threats. Evan drew a picture of, like, I guess blowing up DragCon, and the other people took it as a literal threat. It's like, it's just drawing, but girl, you knew what it was. Come on now. In these trying times of people being sensitive, you can't be playing around with stuff like that. So I totally get it. And talk about the overall racism that goes on with Drag Race from the fans. And these are things that we constantly talk about, is that the overall fighting and drag, and all that other mess. So it was a lot. If you definitely have a chance, check out that interview. It was a really good interview. I know somebody's going to be doing Club Tyra around the United States. Did mention nothing about New York dates. And how they also talked about Beyonce giving him the courage to quit his job and return to drag.